Are you currently struggling from a video game addiction and you just don't know what to do? Are you feeling lost, stuck, confused? Maybe your family or friends are pressuring you to do one thing or another, or your partner in life is ashamed that they're dating somebody who plays too much video games and this weight is falling over and crushing you down at the same time. Now, if you're listening, you're probably one of those three types of people. And if you're going to be here to listen and hear me out, just know that once I was in that position of feeling lost, stuck, confused, and overall unknown of where I wanted to head to life. And because I was doing that, I was filling that void with endless amounts of video games, day in and day out. And man, oh man, was it costing me in more ways than just one. I'm talking mental tolls, physical tolls, relationship tolls on my friends and families, unless it was one of those friends that I played only online with. Now, if you're new here, my name is Gareth. This is my third video, and I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed, click the like button, and dropped a comment down below. If you like this video, have a question, comment, feedback, anything is so appreciated here in this early stage of my YouTube. Now, to start in, I received my first console probably when I was between 10 to 12 years old. It was an Xbox 360. And I loved that thing so much, not only because I could play Major League Baseball, 2012, or I could play NHL 14, but I could play one game on it called Jurassic Park Builder. Now, I might be a little bit off with the name, but you get the point. You were basically able to create your own dinosaur theme park. And this was like ecstasy to me. I felt so alive when I was playing that game, but very quickly, the disc I had of it scratched. So I no longer could play the game that I was so hooked on. So instead, I kept filling that void with other games I enjoyed playing, and they were still fun, but nowhere near as fun as that. So once I'd already hit that level of dopamine at such a young age, now every time I wanted to come home, I was going straight to playing games rather than finishing some hard task like homework and then rewarding myself with games. And this is going to be a theme I continue to touch on throughout this video, but this really puts it into perspective when I think back to my early years. Next, after that, I saved up enough money to get my own laptop, not only for school, but to be able to play PC games as well and meet even more friends online. Now, this wasn't all fine and dandy because, of course, playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, if any of you boys or girls know, it can both be a very rewarding game and a very frustrating game. When it was a rewarding game, I felt on top of the world. The dopamine spike was through the roof. But when it was a toxic, stressful game, my voice raised too loud. I woke up my family members. They came in knocking on my door. Shut up, be quiet. And that happened more than one time because I couldn't control my emotion during that period of time, during that frame that I was playing the game. And that definitely took a toll on my mental health, coming home, playing games, not doing homework, delaying that rewarding feeling of finishing a hard task. Next thing you know, I've procrastinated days, weeks, and the project's due tomorrow, and I don't get to reward myself with any games, and instead I stress, writing the paper, studying for the exam, whatever the problem was, until the next day I'd go on and get barely a passing grade, or once in a blue moon, get a 90%. And in the moment, I couldn't tell, why was this happening? Why couldn't I get the same results as my friends or other peers or my cousins or my family members were? And the truth is, not only did I not want it as bad as them, but I wasn't able to focus as much as they are, because my focus and my attention, which I didn't realize was the most valuable currency I had at those early ages between 14 to 21, was instead being sucked in and funneled into video games. More than I'm proud to admit. I'm talking thousands of hours logged in front of a screen just for moments of dopamine. Isn't that crazy? I probably spent less than a tenth of that time, less than 1,000 hours in a state of pure joy or elation because something good happened. Instead, you're just spending a lot of time stressing, thinking too hard. You're burning some calories up there mentally, and you're putting yourself in a state of constant dopamine so that whenever other things happen in your life, you don't realize how much you can enjoy them and immerse yourself in, because instead you're just thinking back to rewired video game perspective, where you'll always have a chance to level up. And there's always new friends you can meet online. And there's always a new foe to challenge yourself and level up. Whereas we should really be doing this in real life instead. My big breakthrough came within the last couple years when not only did I discover my why, my purpose, but I realized that my time was such a finite currency, you know? Our prime years as young men, young women as well, are in those 18 to 25 years, 18 to 26, 18 to 27. And that's when we not only have the most amount of energy, the most amount of spirit, the most amount of belief we can ramble up, but we have the most amount of time left to make mistakes, to take risks, to try a business and fail, to learn a new skill and fail, to practice, to self-educate, to work out, grow a great physique. You know, all these things we have so much time to accomplish, but we feel overwhelmed. And what I didn't realize is the more time I spent playing the games, the less time I was giving myself to realize what really mattered the most to me right now. Was it the games or was it my goal? And that's when it hit. I didn't have a goal anymore. My goal had been sucked away and thrown off and instead replaced with constant releases of joy by playing video games. Now hear me out. I'm not necessarily an advocate for getting rid of games altogether, nor am I an advocate for playing games all the time. I think I land somewhere in the middle, leaning towards throwing them away a little bit, but I'd prefer almost like an 80% to 20% rule in a perfect world scenario where we spend 80% of our time or day or our precious energy and focus on harder work, difficult tasks that are long-term, long-form gratification, and then a 20% block where we release dopamine and we reward ourselves. Now, there's these gurus online that say, no, you'd get none of it. You get no dopamine detox, get rid of it all. And that's pretty extreme. You know, that's harsh for us that it's not just easy as snapping a finger. So instead, try to implement first maybe a 60-40 rule, and then an 80-20 rule, and then a 90-10. And if you are the person that can cut it out completely and replace it with a positive, helpful task instead, hey, good for you, man. Good for you, girl. But not all of us are at that stage, you know. Maybe an 80-20% ratio works better for you. And as long as you can start treating video games, movies, TV shows, junk food, cheat days as they are, which is limited rewards and delayed gratification after you put in the hard work and discipline, you'll be good. And trust me, that is enough. You don't have to listen to all these wild people online telling you here or here. I believe, and I truly believe, if you can implement difficult tasks first and reward yourself in one way or another afterwards, you'll be okay. And you'll live a happy and fulfilling life. Another perspective I want to share with you is imagine your life is actually like a video game. So instead of investing so much time focused on leveling up your character or winning the most amount of games, you're going to focus on leveling up your IRL character, your in real life character, the one we present and represent every single day walking around. This can be going to the gym and slowly, over time, lifting more weights in a progressive overload fashion. This could be losing weight over time, and you slowly lock in and figure out your nutrition more and more and more. And next thing you know, you've lost 10, 20, 30 pounds. This can be self-education, where at first you try to pick up a new language like Spanish and you don't know anything. And then give it 3 months down the line where you practice 1% to get better every single day. In 3 months' time, 90 days, you're much more fluent in Spanish than you were before. And in all those examples, it's the exact same thing as leveling up in the game, except instead, we're just doing it in real life. And that real life long-term gratification by waiting 90 days to see results is so much better than just hopping on the phones, scrolling for endless hours, or hopping on the games, playing for over 8 hours at a time and chasing dopamine, needing your next quick fix. Hell, that's what these Apps, that's what these games are quite literally programmed for them to do to us. It's to engage us for as long as humanly possible before we decide to quit on our own terms. If it's on social media, people do this by keeping you hooked for so long and then selling you on a product or selling you on a course. If it's in a video game, they let you play for free for so long and then you hit the paywall. Now you have to pay to play. Or you have to pay to win in some cases, or pay for a DLC if you want to expand your experience and grow your world. So I'd just like to offer you a little bit of an insight into not only how much video games was impacting my life when I didn't realize, and how at the beginning you have no idea the type of damage it can take place on your mental, physical health unless you implement those same type of strategies and systems into your real life, just as you do in the online world. So if you appreciated the video today, like I said, subscribe down below, hit the bells notification if I post again. We're at 136 subscribers. Thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully some of you from the short form hop over to the long form content here and just engage with me. I definitely want to build a community of quality individuals that are looking to grow, where we recognize our struggles, where we come from, what we're dealing with, and what we're doing to get better for the future. Let's all hold each other accountable for this journey of growth, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.